Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. As you can tell by the title, I'll be going over the Thunder's collapse in OT versus the Nuggets in game three of the second round of NBA playoffs, and the Cavaliers bouncing back in a major way when they got healthy a little bit in game three versus the Pacers. Make sure you guys like the video, share the video, leave any comments on these two games, anything in my analysis, and also follow us on our social media platforms up at the top of the screen. I want to start this. I want to start with Denver, um, Denver and OKC, and I'm gonna start with just giving the Nuggets their flowers because in both games that came down to the wire, they have out executed the Thunder. Jokic was pretty bad all game. Credit to the Thunder, and he made some really big plays in overtime to get this W. Aaron Gordon was probably the best player, one of the best players on the floor for the Nuggets last night, and he has been all playoffs. I think Aaron Gordon has been the second best Nugget all playoffs. He's hit big shot after big shot after big shot. Plays solid defense as well. Take advantage of mismatches. He's really done it all for the Nuggets. Jamal Murray, he stepped up in OT. He struggled a bit in this series, but I think in game three he was pretty solid. MPJ, to start this game, he was a source of the Nuggets offense, hitting big shots, contested shots, open threes. He had a really good first half, and he in the second half he also made some big shots down the stretch of the game. Also, Russell Westbrook gave some good minutes, and just a lot of credit to David Alderman for the coaching job he's done in Mike Malone's absence, or since he's been fired or whatever. He came into a pretty tough situation, and he has performed flawlessly. Not much more you can ask of a first-time head coach thrusted into that role at the end of the season with 5 games left. He has done an amazing job. So I want to give the Nuggets their flowers for this game. They really shot really well as well from three in this game, which is typical of them as far as the percentage, but they don't ever shoot. Well, they rarely shoot this well on this volume. They really got a lot of threes up relative to their standards in this game and made a lot of them. So I want to give credit to the Denver Nuggets. They just out executed the Thunder down the stretch of the game. I don't want to say experience was the exact reason, but I'll get into that later. Now that I got that out the way, I'm going to talk about the Thunder. And I'll talk about the whole game and all that, but I just had to start here because I mean, right now it is 6:44. I had a few hours of sleep on it or whatever. The game was late last night, so we couldn't get it a full video out or nothing like that right after the game because it was extremely late. But Shai, that performance from Shai down the stretch of that game was one of the most embarrassing and worst finishes from a MVP caliber player that I have seen in a long time. It was very, very bad. His decision making was bad. His shot selection was bad. He was forcing every single thing. And OT, I don't even think he shot a shot. He didn't look composed at all. He didn't look decisive at all. He started the game. He started the game taking whatever the defense gave him. He was making a really quality He was making high quality passes. He was getting others involved. And down the stretch of this game, J-Dub had it going. J-Dub was their best player throughout the whole game. And he was scoring at will. And I get it. You have to go with your MVP caliber player who is one of the best isolation scorers in NBA history. And you want to go to him down the stretch. But that offense was not working. And they still decided to go with Shai play after play after play. Shai had like 7 straight shots where just terrible, where he forced it. Step back threes, contested mid ranges. On the last play of the regulation, well, on OKC's last shot of regulation, he tried to foul bait. And I don't even like the foul baiting narratives, but that shit was terrible. That was disgusting. Like that just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. On the last shot on your last opportunity to win this game in regulation, you try to foul bait, like the refs are not going to call that. Like it was I don't even know what words to use to describe that performance. It was nasty. Shai has struggled in his playoffs as a scorer, and I think it's because one, he's not a high volume 3-point shooter. That is the one thing. It's not like he's going to run 40 pick and rolls and shoot pull up threes like a Donovan Mitchell, or to lesser Smith, like a Jamal Murray or a Steph Curry and like that. So that's one of the reasons he's struggling. Two, Denver Nuggets they literally are just ignoring everyone but Shai on most plays. Like they're loading up. They have a cage defense. If the Thunder are not getting in transition, their defense is set. It's tilted toward SGA every time he touches the ball. So if the Thunder shooters are not going to hit shots, or the Thunder players are not going to hit shots, it's going to be really hard for their offense. They shot terrible from three. They shot terrible from three from this game. At one point, I think they were like 4 for 21. Caruso shot terrible from three. Dort shot terrible from three. Chet in the second half shot terrible from three. And they didn't even. I'm gonna get to like adjustments and what I want to see from the Thunder going forward, but that was just an embarrassing collapse from SGA. They lost this game because of SGA, and I don't like to give stars all the credit or blame for a game going how it was, but they would have won this game if SGA executed better on a micro level or a macro level down the stretch of the game. He was awful. There's no way around it. He was terrible. And the whole game, he was terrible. And Mark Daigneault also. Questionable coaching decisions. The challenge down the stretch of the game, that was terrible. He started OT without Chet. Maybe he was exhausted. But you started OT with Caruso and Dort out there. And there were way too many minutes where Caruso and Dort were on the floor. You cannot have two non-shooters on the court like that. Like Caruso can hit a three for sure. Dort has been a 40% three-point shooter this year. I think he's at like 39% when he's wide open. In these playoffs, he has not been knocking it down. And Mark has refused to sit him down when he's not hitting shots. I'll get to the adjustments I want to see in game 4, because game 4 is obviously a must-win game. The Thunder, they probably need to play more Aaron Wiggins. They probably need to play more Isaiah Joe when their threes are not falling. I don't think they're going to tank your defense that much. Obviously, Caruso and Dort are all-world defenders, but maybe even play more Kaysen, because he still gives you great defense, and he can actually knock down a three, drive a closeout. And Caruso has had good games. Like in game 3, he was really good. Game 2, he was really good as well. But they just need more offense, because the defenses are just loading up on Shai. And in the beginning of this game, he was making really decisive decisions, really quick passes, getting off the ball really well. But the Thunder weren't hitting shots at the clip that they needed to. So I think after they were missing shots, he just decided that he's going to go all hero ball. And it went terribly for him. He could not hit a single shot at the rim. He could not, he couldn't even get to the rim. And he was struggling in the mid-range area, just forcing shots out of rhythm with the threes as well, forcing threes. So the offense just got stale, because if people are not hitting shots and Shai's not hitting shots, obviously it's going to get stale. So they need to, like Mark, he has to adjust. He has to play Isaiah Joe more than 3 minutes in the game. That's ridiculous. If your team is not making threes, you need to put the shooters in the game. Aaron Wiggins is a much improved shooter this year. You need to play him more. Yes, you got to lean into this all-time great defense and create turnovers as they have been doing all series. I understand that, but when you're not hitting shots, though, you have to play your offensively slanted personnel. I don't think they have enough scoring on the team as you would want. Not enough two-way players on the team as you would want. They have defensive menace, but Dort, for like the second time in a row, has not been able to hit threes in the playoffs. Caruso has been inconsistent in the series so far as his three-point shot making in the offense, because he was really bad offensively tonight. So Mark, I don't know what the adjustment is, but they have to adjust in some type of way, because it is very, very hard to win in Denver. That's why after game one, when I came on here with Max, I was so distraught because you had an opportunity to, protect home court. You definitely shouldn't have lost game one. That was a really bad loss. So now you're in this predicament where you tied up 1-1 at the dominant game two, and you see how hard it is to win in Denver. I do not like the Thunder's chances if all these games are going to be clutch games, because I think that Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray are going to out execute them time after time down the stretch of games, because their clutch offense is not good enough when they don't have the shooters on the floor, or they don't have or Shea doesn't have it going, and they can just ignore everybody else on the court besides Shea and get it going. It was just terrible clutch time offense. Like, Mark didn't try to get them anything like easy at all. I don't even know if he ran the pick and roll the whole entire overtime. It looks like they came out of OT. It was Shea ISO, J-Dub ISO, Shea ISO, J-Dub ISO. They got the ball to Isaiah Hartenstein on like 3 push shots down the stretch. Like, that can't be your offense. Like, Isaiah Hartenstein floaters in OT can't be your offense down the stretch of the game. That's not going to do it. He was making it at 80% clip in the playoffs. That shouldn't be your offense down the stretch of the games. Shea needs to get off the ball a lot more. They need to put their shooters in, Aaron Wiggins and Isaiah Joe, as much as they can. He cannot play 3 minutes in game 4. And if Lou Dort does not have it going, you have to take him out of the game. You have to. Mark gave him a super long leash in this game. He's great defensively, but he was not making Jamal Murray like struggle or bother him a lot in his game that warranted him playing this much. Chet started the game out really, really well. He started the game out really, really well. But in the second half, he was terrible. He missed open shots. He wasn't finishing through contact. And I don't think he was as good as defensively as he could have been in the second half, but he was really good defensively in the first half. So it's an uphill battle for the Thunder right now. They have a must-win game in game 4. They cannot go down 3-1 in the series, even though I think they're the better team. They just can't. So we're gonna be watching, and I think their game is tomorrow. So it's gonna be a pivotal game, and we'll be back to talk about that series with the whole group when it happens. Next game, Cavs dominate the Pacers in game 4. Evan Mobley comes back, Darius Garland comes back, DeAndre Hunter comes back. I don't think they're fully healthy at all, but they came back. But I have to talk about Donovan Mitchell. That man has been on a mission in this series. He's been on a mission in this series. He has been amazing, getting 2 feet in the paint, creating for others, and also just finishing at the rim. He's averaging like 40 in this series. He's had 40 and 50 in the last 2 games. He is on he's on a tear. Donovan Mitchell is obviously one of the better playoff performers in the NBA, but when Garland and Mobley and DeAndre Hunter and others have either been injured or not been stepping up, he has carried the load. They should have won game 2. They had some terrible execution down the stretch, could not inbound the ball. But they came back. They played a lot better defense on the Pacers in game 4. And Donovan Mitchell was just a man on a mission. They moved the ball with intent in the first half. They play a lot better defense. Mobley obviously being there was a really big help for them. So they don't tie it up. They go down. They cut the deficit to 2-1 in game 4. So yeah, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, one of the best players in the NBA. I think he's still underrated in a sense because I don't think enough people. He's probably a top 7-8 player. People talk about between him and Anthony Edwards. I think it's neck and neck between those players. Like I said earlier on an earlier video. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about Donovan Mitchell in this game. Darius Garland, he wasn't his usual self because he's still coming back from this injury and probably still dealing with it. But having him on the floor just makes Cleveland's offense run much smoother, in my opinion. He gets the ball to Mobley and Jared Allen much better than Donovan Mitchell, even though Donovan Mitchell is a pretty good playmaker. He gets the ball to their shooters really, really well. I think Cleveland shoots like 53% off of his passes throughout this entire season. So him just being on the floor in any capacity, especially if he's not being like a liability defensively, it just helps the Cleveland offense and the Cleveland team so much more. Evan Mobley came back, and I think he had a pretty good game. He did well finishing around the rim, rolling. He knocked down a couple threes as well. Was obviously pretty good defensively as well as he usually is. His growth this year has been amazing to watch. He put the ball on the floor a few times and finished the contact. So I think the Cavs are still going to win the series. They have a really hard challenge coming back down from 2-0, but now that they've got three of their best players back on the floor and they're not healthy, but they're out there, I think they're going to be able to beat this Indiana team. I think they are clearly the better team when fully healthy, which they haven't been throughout this series. I'm fully expecting the Cavs to win Game 4 and win this series in 6 or 7 because I think they're a much better team. I think they're a deeper team when they can, stagger the Garland, Donovan Mitchell minutes, and also the Mobley, Jared Allen minutes, and because their team is so deep, they keep consistent, great offense on the floor at all times. And if Ty Jerome gets it going, that is going to be even better than it has been so far. But the reason I picked them in this series is because I think they can create great looks and play solid defense for 48 minutes because they have so much depth on this roster. And the Pacers have depth too, but not to the level of the Cavs, especially when Tyrese Haliburton is off the court. And I want to talk about Tyrese Haliburton because in this game, he was super, super, super passive, which he can get into those spells. And that's one of my biggest issues with Tyrese Haliburton. And he's a great player. He's been great in these playoffs to start. But it's games like this where he can just get so passive and not be aggressive enough as a scorer. And he doesn't scale up that well as a scorer in the playoffs either. When he doesn't have it going and he doesn't really force the issue, which can be good and can be bad because one thing about Tyrese Haliburton, he doesn't really take bad shots at all. He makes the correct decision on the court like 10 times out of 10. But sometimes you need your star player to scale up to really hunt a bucket, to get downhill like Donovan Mitchell is in this series and really force the issue because if you're that level of player, it's going to be most likely a good outcome. So it's a two-sided coin where you don't want him to be too passive and you don't want him to be like overly aggressive if he doesn't have it going, but he can't be out there for 40 minutes in one game and it'd be like he's invisible. He wasn't playmaking on a high level in this game, and he also was just non-existent as a scorer, and he didn't provide much defensively at all. So he'll have to have a much better game. Pascal Siakam, let me check because it's been a while since I looked at the box score of this game. I don't think any one player really played well for the Cavs. Also, I hope Miles Turner is fine because he looked really hobbled. Yeah, Miles Turner was pretty good when he was on the floor. Pascal Siakam was fine. I don't think he was as impactful as he could have been. 18 points, only 14 shots. Benedict Mathurin, he gave them a big boost off the bench. He came in and helped them tie the game after the Cavaliers went up big in that first quarter. And then in the second half of that first quarter, Benedict Mathurin came off the bench, gave you like 8 straight points. He was excellent in this game. He's been pretty solid all playoff series. But outside of that, they didn't really get much production from anyone. Nesmith has seemingly came back. Not Nesmith, I'm sorry. Nembhard has seemingly came back down to earth a little bit. TJ McConnell gave some solid minutes. But outside of that, I think the Cavaliers just played really good defense. Their ball containment was really good. They implemented that zone with Evan Mobley at the top of it that they played throughout this year, and it worked really well. It made the Pacers second guess a lot. It took them out a lot of their ball screen actions. Didn't allow Holly to get into the paint and create, or get into like the middle of the court and create for others. So I think that zone really hampered the Pacers offense. And so I want to see how they respond to that and how much the Cavaliers won in the game. game 4. But that was my recap of both of those games. I feel like I could have did better with my Thunder Nuggets talk, but I had to focus so much on Shai's play down the stretch of the game because I really think it was the biggest reason they lost this game outside of the Thunder not being able to hit shots with their role players. We're going to see how all these teams adjust to game 4. We have, I think, 2 more playoff games tonight. I want to say who plays tonight. Yeah, the Celtics and Knicks play game 3. Game 3, and then is it game 4? 1-1. No, it's game 3. The Wolves and Warriors play game 3 as well. So we'll be back tonight to recap that. If you guys made it this far, make sure you like the video, share the video, and follow us on our social media platforms. And I am out.